Greetings and various assorted salutations. The purpose of today's little tutorial is to show one way of building Google assignments. I've put together several other videos on YouTube for Google Classroom, like getting students into the classroom, things like that. This one is just a very pragmatic, how do you set up an assignment? Typically, you might start off on the stream page. The stream page is actually not that useful in my opinion. You can share things with your class. You can click on this. You can make it for specific students. You can add stuff. I usually put like announcement videos and things like that. You know, that kind of stuff. But where you actually go in and add assignments is you go into classwork. So in classwork, you can see right off the bat that you can do, this is where the assignments and materials will appear. To create anything, obviously you would click on the create button, whatever color it is. And right off the bat, you can see you have several different options. You have an assignment, which is what we'll be working with. There's how to make quiz assignments. This basically makes it so that you could give quizzes and tests. Or there's a lot of other things you could do with it, but that'll be a topic for another video. There's questions. Some people use these as bell ringers. Where you just ask a simple question and every student can see the replies, things like that. Material is another thing I like to use. This is where you don't have an assignment, but you want to provide like a tool to students. It's like I might make a material thing for student resources, like how to get to the online textbook, tutorial videos, things like that. And then if anything you've ever made in Google Classroom, you can reuse. That's a really great feature. Essentially, I build a lot of things once, and then I don't build them again. It's one of the things I really prioritize in building things. But what we're going to do is we are going to create an assignment. There is one other thing. You can create topics before I get to mention. You can see this imperialism in World War I. I've got this thing that never appears to students, messaging templates do not post. These topics allow you to organize your assignments. I highly recommend you create topics. But what we're going to do is we're going to create an assignment. Actually, we're going to use this one. So normally to create an assignment, you click Create, Assignment, and this pops up. Alrighty, here's one that I've already started. Right off the bat, you have the test assignment. You need a title. The instructions are optional, though I do recommend putting down basically what the students are getting themselves into. This is a good place to put that. Now, some of the things you can do, if you have the gradebook configured, you can actually have grade categories. Given the short notice, most of you probably don't have that feature set up. Due dates, once again, until we get further directives, you probably won't be using that feature much. But topic is important. So I'm going to put this in my messaging templates because this is not actually going to appear to most of my students. Some other things that you might notice in here, you can actually issue assignments to individual students or all the, it defaults to all the students. You can set the point value here or click ungraded. Originality reports, I've already used them up, but those can actually check for plagiarism, which is great for essays. Also, if you want to create a rubric, that's right here. I might talk about that in a separate video. For now, let's focus on creating a very basic assignment based on, like, a worksheet that you may have issued in the past. So let's do that. Now, if you've never made any Google documents, you might have to create a Google document, and you've got several options here. Most of the time, I recommend using Docs. Sometimes you might use slides for things or sheets, which is Excel spreadsheets, the equivalent. I have experimented with drawings and had very mixed results. I don't recommend it. So we're going to focus with Docs. But I already have a document in mind. And you can pull your documents. You can upload them. You can put in YouTube videos. You can put in links. But I need to get a document from my Google Drive. There we go. There we go. So right off the bat, it takes you into your Google Drive. If you're not familiar with accessing or using this, don't worry about it. That might be another tutorial. I'm going to have a lot of tutorials if I do all the things I say I'll do. Yeah, well, keeps me busy. So let's go into my drive. I need a good assignment that I've never digitized. Oh, yes, that's a good one. This is a fun little experiment I built a while back. Let's go with... Here it goes. So what I did is I added a document that I've created before. Now, this document is not immediately ready. It's in Word, and I highly recommend that you convert documents that are in Word into something else. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this document. It'll open up this window, a new window, and then you will click on Open with Google Docs. It'll chug for a bit. The more complicated the documents, the harder it is to open. PDFs are probably the hardest thing to work with, so if you have stuff in Word docs, you're going to be pretty well off. And right off the bat, you can see this is textbook challenge and this is the Word document format. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new format. We're going to save this as a Google Doc. And when you click on that, the computer's going to chug through it a bit. Now, there will be some issues because Microsoft Word, even though we knock it a lot in the Google world, Microsoft Word is a better program if you don't have to share with others. Because you can do a lot of things in Microsoft Documents that you could never dream of doing in a Google document. And that's okay. Google Documents is built for the virtual world. Microsoft Word is built for the physical world and typesetters. But anyways, right off the bat, you can see this lovely assignment's already set up for things. You might have to make some changes to the instructions. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll copy the instructions and dump them over in here. If it'll let me. Sometime. Oh, yeah. Oops. Pro tip, keyboard commands are absolutely necessary. If you hear some clacking in the background, it's because I have a mechanical keyboard that makes a horrendous amount of noise. I like it personally. But alrighty, so the instructions are there. Now, obviously, you might have to make some changes to the instructions. Do that as needed. For the most part, this thing is pretty much all ready. It's already a fairly well-designed assignment. I would recommend getting rid of this stuff because Google Documents, if you set it up correctly, tracks all this junk. So like student names are automatically listed in here. You could put them in there, or we could do this. Let's see here. I did Control Z. That is the undo key. Undo is a good friend. So, gotta quit doing that. There we go. There's no point in putting the period or the date, but some people like to have the name in there, just a holdover from a previous era, and it does have its uses. Ugh, I hate that font style. Anyways, so we've modified this document. Let's get rid of this table up here. Students always ask me, why do you have that table? I always tell them that's for me to know and you to eternally ponder. Anyways. So here we go. We've got this document. It's all ready. Now, it is not attached in Google Classroom. So what we need to do, go back up here, up to the tab here, and we are going to add a document from the Google Drive. That one we just built, you see the lines here? That has a W. That's Microsoft Word. And this is the document we just rebuilt. You'll notice that the image is not up to date, and that's because it takes a while for this to update, but it should be just fine. We're going to close these tabs out. Now, if you accidentally upload a document you don't want, well, you can just get rid of it. So we don't need this one anymore because that's a Word document. Now let's check on this because I know a lot of people I'm not sure, did my changes save? They better have because it's automatic. And bam, right there. Lovely. You'll see that there's an extra page. You can just leave that there because, quite frankly, it doesn't matter. Now, what some people like to do is they like to make it so that the students have a box to fill in answers. makes it a bit neater for grading. So let's go and modify this document further. The way I'm going to do it is kind of a copy-paste method. But I'll show you the basics and then we'll do a time skip. It's like a baking channel. So right off the bat, if we want to do a table setup, go to assignment. How many questions are there? There are 10 questions, so that means we need 20. 20. Insert table. And we want it a 1 by 20. Oh goodness, that was a fun one. That was Control X. Control X is cut. Control V is paste. Keyboard shortcuts are your friend. I have all kinds of fun keyboard shortcuts in my computer. So we're going to copy and paste. You might have to delete some excess space. Or be like me and wonder why that did that. Oh well. Oh, I bet that's a spacing issue. Your assignments, I'm going to be upfront with you. If you're taking the time to redesign these assignments for Google Classroom, they're not going to look pretty, at least not right now. As a typesetter and someone who does technical editing and typesetting and book publishing, this is driving me bonkers right now. But the goal is to teach you a tool that you can use quickly. In case you're wondering what this assignment is, this is an assignment I developed for world history originally, and the intent of it is to get students to get familiar with using a textbook, which admittedly is a bit silly, but it does help when students know what the parts of the textbook are and how to use them. There's an art in knowing how to, well, read for a purpose. Oops. Control Z to fix that mistake. Control V to slap that in there. Now, you don't have to do it this way. I'm just doing it this way because I found the goal of typesetting is to make assignments easier to grade. And I'll have that in a separate video on how to grade these lovely things. Now, you see these 16ths through this? These can go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight. And you'll notice there's a bit of space down here. And apparently I can't count. This is the Department of Social Studies. So math was never my strong suit. Alrighty, where else did I screw up the counting? So this is where a student might put in an answer. Let's see here. Answer the question in the spaces provided below. Let's see here. Oh, I see our problem. So the spacing's off. I do that a lot. So in theory, what the students should be doing, and they'll pick up on this intuitively, is, oh, I need to answer question 1 right here, question 2 right here, question 3 right here, question 4 right here. The idea of doing this template setup is so that when students are going through, you can quickly grade it. The goal of a lot of assignment design is figuring out what format can you quickly go through and grade and give meaningful feedback on, which I will include in a tutorial. So anyways, I feel like this document is close enough for government work. And since I'm a public school teacher, I can say that. And mean it. So now what we're doing is we're back here in Google Classroom. And what we're going to do is make this template the thing the students fill in for the answer. So right now we've got students can view file. We're going to change that. We're going to make a copy for each student that does this assignment. This is important. You must do this step in building. Once you assign a document, you cannot do this anymore. But make a copy for each student. The reason why you do this one is if you allow every student to edit it, it means there is one document and every single student can edit it. So that means the last one wins and their edits stick. So make a copy for each student. And now we need to include some instructions. So we're going to add another document that already exists. And it's in my Google Drive, actually. So let's see here. Online. Yeah, this is the document. So this document has how to online it. Now, you don't want students editing this. You just want them to be able to view it. And so you just click Students Can View File. That's it for that one. That's a pre-made document. It's a lovely document that shows how to get students on the online textbook. Teachers who would like a copy of this for the school I teach at, you can, well, request one from me, or I think the Department of Social Studies uses it in a lot of things. Anyways, now there's one more link I want to slap in there, and that's for the online textbook, because unlike some people, they probably don't keep it in their bookmarks bar. So let me show you what that is. Nope, that's not the right one. I need to fix that link. Let's see here, we're going to here. Alrighty, so what I'd like to do is I have these instructions on how to get on the online textbook, but I just want to give them the link to get directly to this website. So what I'm going to do is add and put in a link. And then we just paste it in there and bam, right there. Takes you right there. No questions asked. Alrighty, now we've got ourselves a lovely little assignment. And it's worth an obscene amount of points, and it's for one student. So I'm going to now assign this. You have several options, actually. If you want to schedule this is actually a fun little trick you can do. You can schedule it for different dates. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to post it to my one suffering student right now as we speak. And then I'm going to show in another tutorial in just a little bit of how a student sees the assignment and does the assignment. So let's jump right in. And that's all there is to it. As you can see, it's thinking. And there we go. It's assigned to our one student, which is a dummy profile that I've set up that I control. So that concludes this tutorial. I hope this helps in building assignments. There are many ways to build assignments. This particular format is just convenient for grading purposes. And I'll show you that in just a second.